Today I learned that you can separate tea drinkers between the tiffers and the miffers. Tea in first or milk in first. I usually drink my tea without any milk at all. How do you drink your tea?
Also without any milk. But I've also learned recently from an influencer on Instagram that she always puts the milk in first and then adds the coffee and then adds water. And apparently, there's also like a magic thing that's happening in the cup that is different from when you do it the other way around.
Okay, so there's magic happening, and this is the reason for being a miffer or a tiffer? We should try that with mocktails.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, as you know, with, for example, Aperol Spritz, you also have this rule basically of putting the Aperol in first and then add the rest of it because it
Why?
also changes. I don't know, but we can ask our Italian friends.
My grandfather used to say it all ends up in the same stomach. So order is irrelevant.
No idea.
Okay. Let's start with our no booze news of the week. Welcome, 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 all you curious people, no boozers, and wine lovers, to the 6th episode of the Double O Podcast, your weekly go-to show on non-alcoholic drinks in the podcast universe. What are we going to do today?
That's right. So today we have a very important topic, which is dating and the role of alcohol in dating. But also, we have some news out of the travel industry and why millennials are maybe not drinking fewer wine than we always thought. They are drinking more.
Why is that?
So, there was an article in the Forbes magazine that clearly showed that the death of wine among US millennials is grossly exaggerated because, in fact, they are not only consuming more wine, but the high end millennial consumers even spend more bottle on average than baby boomers. So, despite this whole reports and being in the press of millennials not adopting wine as much as other older generations, it shows that as they enter their 30s, millennials have increasingly embraced wine as part of their lifestyle, which shows that experiences matter. It's a matter of sharing a bottle of wine together, enjoying it, indulging in it. And this has also led to the rise of wineries with cultural diverse offerings such as Cabernet Sauvignon with traditional Mexican food.
Okay. So people like us, it's more about this social gathering rather than getting drunk or just drink and party.
Yeah, for us, it's more we also like to go out and party, but then we really want to celebrate with a good bottle of wine. Whereas for baby boomers, they were maybe looking a little bit more after price.
So how does this contribute to the non-alcoholic movement?
I would say it doesn't really compete with it because those people that are drinking those like higher quality wines, they are not substituting, or what would you say?
I guess there is a connection to the non-alcoholic movement because it's more like this drinking less but better. So moderate drinking.
Moderate drinking with a reason and an experience behind it.
There's a trend towards moderate drinking, especially millennials are willing to pay more for the average bottle or the average drink they have. And there were some interviews of the Scheid family, for example, that they said that they also see this trend towards lower alcohol wines or no alcohol wines. And we should always keep an eye on studies like this because sometimes maybe they show that not everything we think we know is still up to date. Okay, it's quite tough right now to do this transition
Transition.
to the pregnant woman, but nevertheless, I try to do so. A young woman shared her secret, how she took part in her girls' night without sharing her pregnancy secret. So what she did basically is she bought the bottle of wine that her girls like to drink. She pulled it in a carafe, in a decanter, stored it in the fridge, and then she refilled the normal bottle of wine with a wine that is quite similar in taste and smell, but without alcohol. And then every time they ask for a wine, she poured it from the bottle. And then afterwards, every now and then, she shared the wines as well through her decanter. And I was wondering, how did she do that? That they don't get the feeling and the smell of the wine without alcohol. Because, I mean, we both know it's quite tough to imitate original products.
I mean, I'm drinking non-alcoholic wine right now, and it's not really a difference, especially not if you're like not smelling and sniffing it right away. I wonder more like when did she post the video? Did she wait until her friends
That is
found
a
out?
great
Or did
question.
she because just imagine all this effort to keep it secret and then posting this and then be like, oh
Yes.
shit. Oh yeah, maybe
I
that
have the
wasn't the
same
best idea.
question. So what she did is, I mean, usually you wait until I guess the end of the third month when you know everything
Yeah.
is fine, and then you share it with your friends. So this is what she did, and the video was recorded 2 months before that. So she recorded it.
Mhm.
After 3 months, she shared it with her friends, and then she posted the video, and it just went viral. It's already on almost 800,000 likes. Quite funny.
Love it. That's so smart. And it really shows that you have this kind of peer pressure when you're having a girls' night, or doesn't matter what night out, you're always being questioned or you're getting a weird look if you don't drink. And you
Are you
always have to explain
pregnant? Hmm.
yourself. Yeah. What's wrong?
Are you ill? Yes, all those crazy things.
Interestingly, I mean, we have a lot of topics from the US. There was an interesting study that found out that as many as 64% of those people aged 21 plus and 72% of Americans aged 21 to 34 say that they're drinking less now than it did a year ago. And with cost being a factor, for 1 in 4 people who have decided to cut back on drinking, as the beer prices in the US rose considerably in 2023 alone. And then I was curious, so I looked it up, and it was like 6% just this year. And from 20,000 until now, sorry, 2000, they rose 70%. That's probably for some people really a reason. And then what the data showed was that among those people who plan to take a vacation in the next 90 days, a majority of 63% plan to take at least one alcohol-free vacation called dry tripping. So it's not what you think when I say tripping, with 32% even planning multiple dry trips. And I thought this was really, really crippling. And of course, as we probably have guessed, there is also a strong correlation between cannabis use and abstaining from alcohol, with a steady rise in daily cannabis usage since 2020. Interesting, right?
It's totally interesting because I just had this chat with a friend, I guess it was yesterday, who told me that usually when she goes on vacation or just 3, 4 days off, she loves having a glass of wine, just yeah, to calm down, to relax. So it's quite closely related to holidays, to vacation. So those people decide to go on vacation, to have several days off without drinking any alcohol at all, but maybe they smoke a blunt every now and then.
Yeah, and
Interesting.
I really wonder what this means for those party areas in on islands like
Ibiza.
Mallorca or Ibiza. Yeah, I mean, there's Ibiza opening. I think it was last weekend, the weekend that was just passed. And yeah, just imagine going there and then deciding not to drink at all. This is a whole other experience. And I wonder if you still go out and party, or if you have completely different activities.
Maybe they will exchange Ibiza and Mallorca through Rügen, Helgoland, and Texel, because in the Netherlands and also right now in Germany, you can smoke marijuana. So maybe they just move it northern, and we will party in the Baltic Sea and in the Northern Sea in the future.
Sounds like something I don't want to do.
Climate change is happening.
But just yeah, climate change has to be a little bit more developed for me to really go on holidays in Germany. But yeah, let's see. From dry tripping to dry dating. This is such an interesting research. They had 1,000 millennials and Gen Zers polled into a survey on dry dating. So, in a nutshell, there is a dry dating movement that completely ditches alcohol and focuses on creating sober connections. And here's what they found out: 23% of young adults say that they have felt pressure to drink alcohol on a date, even if they didn't want to. And I mean, I know this from my personal experience. The probably most common activity is that you just go to have a drink together. And then you sometimes feel like you have to have something with alcohol, like a wine or a cocktail. And yeah, this has led to people even going to sober bars. In fact, 1 in 5 people have gone to such a sober bar where they only serve non alcoholic beverages for a date. And among the people who haven't tried dry dating, 75% said that they would be willing to try it. So if you're dating, why not suggesting an activity that doesn't involve alcohol?
Is this only for first dates, or is it for dating or going on a rendezvous in general? So I don't know, we're in a relationship for 5 years, and when we go on a date or night out, this also accounts for dry dating?
It doesn't really say in the article if they asked single people or if they asked people in a relationship. But what I would just say is if you're dating, it doesn't matter if you're single or if you're having a partner, you should always date. You should always take your girl or your guy out and yeah, then try to not drink alcohol. But I think for a first date, there's a higher probability of drinking alcohol, also to get a little bit loose and to open up the conversation more easily and maybe not have as many challenges to speak and have a flowing conversation. I don't know. I don't have these problems because I can always find a topic. But I assume that, yeah, a lot of people, like 16% also said that they felt like they needed alcohol to get through a first date.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Not
You know what's
everyone is
funny?
as extroverted as we are.
Probably not. You know what? I told a friend about this article, and I said, yeah, there is an interesting article about dry dating. And she was like, oh, wow, dry dating. So you don't have sex at the first date. I said, no, 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 it's without alcohol, nothing else.
But probably there's also a correlation. If you think about like those people that are really getting drunk, I would assume that the chances are higher that you might also end up in bed together. And so maybe your friend isn't completely wrong with that.
Maybe you can't remember anything at all the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And I mean
it could
that's
be
really
true.
that's something that I completely get, and that's also what 68% say in the poll, that they want to be more focused on the conversation and they want to be more, yeah, connected and being fully aware of the person that they're meeting.
Have you ever dated a guy who goes to the gym and then he starts drinking protein shakes instead of alcohol during the date?
No.
Could be interesting, couldn't it? You know what? I just came from the gym.
Yeah, but what about gym date. Wouldn't that be also like a nice suggestion? If
What
you're
is,
like the
how is it
yeah,
called? Gym Crush? Is it called Gym Crush? Yeah, it's called Gym Crush.
you can name it whatever you want. I have no idea that I didn't know that there was a name for it.
Yeah, there are videos of the fitness influencers who film each other and say, "Oh, my gym crush just came over and helped me, I don't know, lifting weights." But this was my transition for you for the next article.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I didn't really pick the transition up.
No worries.
So,
There you go.
there is a rise in functional drinks for healthier habits, which could be a protein shake or protein infused drink.
No
And it's
way.
oh, yeah. It's really hard to exactly pin down what functional drinks are, but to put it simply, it's a drink that does something. It does something to your body that enhances your metabolism, your energy, your mood, or you name it. It just makes you better. So it could be like the oldest functional drinks would be tea, coffee, alcohol, kombucha, but there's also like a complete collection of new stuff on in the supermarket shelves, which always include either herbal or plant-based ingredients that help you with your energy or give you other health benefits. For example, there's even a new functional beer called Collider, in which they used ingredients like lion's mane mushrooms and ashwagandha and an amino acid from green tea. Would you try that?
Sounds a bit awkward.
I mean, isn't it great if it also enhances your concentration and your metabolism?
I've never heard about mushrooms doing good stuff for your brains, except showing more colors.
Yeah, but that's maybe when you overconsume them. But generally, those are like plant medicine, and mushrooms are super intelligent. If you think about the network that mushrooms have
Yeah.
in nature, and that's what they also do when you consume them. If you consume the right ones, obviously. But
Mhm.
there's like, for example, this lion's mane is is one of those that are super beneficial for your concentration and your mood.
Do CBD crossover product count to that specific category? Do you know that? So when I have a
I don't
wine
know
that
for
is flavored?
sure, but it would absolutely make sense. And there's critical voices that say those esoteric ingredients that you need a science degree to understand are being added to foods and beverages, and people should just stick to
I
normal,
get,
healthy, natural food
I
and
get it.
stop thinking that and say it's just a marketing scam.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, wine is a complex thing. It's a huge industry. It's a super highly sophisticated and developed product. Can you imagine that people would do this with mushrooms, with herbs, with, I don't know,
Definitely.
fruit?
Yeah, definitely. I think the market is just not there yet. But I think in a few years from now, we will definitely drink wine, maybe non-alcoholic wine, that is enhanced with herbs and with other additives. I mean, we had it with vino last week or the week before that, where they added ginger. Why not? From this to a topic that is not really related, but we wanted to quickly touch on it, namely ProWein Singapore. ProWein Singapore had a zero area, like a non-alcoholic area, and dedicated masterclasses, but not as much as ProWein in Düsseldorf had, and you probably can speak more to that.
I mean, the zero corner, as they call it, at ProWein in Düsseldorf was quite big. Hundreds of products, many companies that also showed up on their own stand to present the products. And I tasted over 250 in total. Really interesting. Spent many hours in the specific hall number one. And apparently in Singapore, it's not a super big market, but it's a rising market, upcoming
Yeah.
market in the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 years. I guess we will see the industry grow over there. I mean, Japan and China, Vietnam, Singapore, it's all countries that already have, I won't say a history, but a culture with alcohol-free products. Either, no matter if it's, I don't know, tea or kombucha, for example, there is a market already existing, and I
Bubble
guess they
tea.
will. Yeah, bubble tea probably. The sugar level would be quite similar to non-alcoholic wine at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so
you would have spent a lot of time at the ProWein Zero area in Singapore because they had one dedicated booth. One booth.
this will grow. I definitely
Yeah,
see a big
definitely.
market for alcohol-free wines in Asia, especially in China, or let's say no, let's keep it with Asia because Asian food sometimes is more spicy. It's spicier than our food, and it fits perfectly with wines that have residual sugar. So I can imagine, I don't know, an alcohol-free Riesling with a high acidity and a higher sugar level that suits perfectly, yeah, for
Yeah.
Chinese food, for example.
And
Sure.
the door opener could be those really huge luxury hotels and the elite bars, which are commonly referred to as tier one companies. And they are already all doing non alcoholic stuff, but they have great bartenders who can make any kind of cocktail. So they've got the experience. And then what turns out is something that is really, yeah, delicious and is received well by customers. But to, yeah, really crack the market in Singapore, the tier two and three venues, so smaller restaurants, smaller hotels, need to tap into the trend. And it definitely helps to win over large luxury hotels, big names and restaurants and bars that then help appeal to other businesses. So I'm always sipping here. And I wanted to ask you, because you're the expert on this, how is a good non alcoholic wine made?
What we currently see in the market is 85 to 90% entry level alcohol-free wine, and especially in Central Europe, there's two, three bigger companies that produce a lot, and especially the big brands such as Henkel Freshenet, Torres, Rotkäppchen Mumm, they are responsible for 80 to 85% of the basic of the entry level market, and it's just to give people who are used to their favorite brand an alcohol-free alternative. It works good. It drives this alcohol-free movement. It's totally fine. But when we really talk about high quality in alcohol-free, there's still a long way to go, even though there has been almost 120 years of experience. I mean, it was invented in 1907. We just started. So we're right in the beginning. There is some companies that really know how to deal with de-alcoholization in wine. Torres has 15 years of experience in Spain. Gießen Wines in New Zealand has 10 to 15 years of experience. And many of those people who are deeper into that topic tell or say or claim, I would say claim, that you have to make a product that is 150%, so totally overloaded with acidity, with aromas, with flavors, with body, with everything, because the de-alcoholization takes away body, texture, complexity, aromas. So in the end, this 150% wine goes down to 100% alcohol-free wine. So high in quality, well balanced, fuller bodied, and you don't have to add so much sugar. And I mean, there was this article with the interview of the founders from French Bloom, and I had some talks to people who work in Germany and also in New Zealand. I talked to people at ProWine from Gießen Wines in New Zealand, and they're quite big in the market. They're one of the biggest players, by the way, in the non-alcohol wine industry in the whole world. They account for almost 5% of every wine made, and they know how to do it, and they all say the same. Make a wine that is 130 to 150%. Maybe the base wine is totally undrinkable, but in the end, you have a really well-made product.
Yeah, makes sense. And that also explains why maybe some winemakers that are just sending their normal wine that they also sell as is to customers who then try to de-alcoholize that product, they are probably a bit more disappointed because it takes a lot away, and they should have a completely different base product to then send into the de-alcoholization process.
And I guess in maybe 10 years, we will be where we are with wine today. You have a 1% niche of people who are talking hours about, I don't know, texture and body and aroma structure and all this kind of stuff. And the rest just wants an enjoyable product. So we will need those high quality products next to the base level, entry level products that are just there to be drunk and enjoyed in the moment.
Definitely.
By the way, we should try this Blanc de Blanc.
Which one?
Yeah, the French Bloom. The vintage big.
I would love to try that.
Me too.
It looks so fancy.
I heard that
Sponsor us.
sometimes podcasters are sent parcels, packages with wine. I don't know. Might be an
Yeah.
option.
What else is on the horizon of alcohol-free products?
Great transition. Great transition. Oregon is one of the biggest and most well-known wine regions in the U.S. Besides Napa Valley, and they are quite famous for really, really good Pinot Noir. It's a smaller area; it's about 15,000 hectares, and 2/3 are under the umbrella of Willamette Valley. And I had some great Pinots from over there, and they came up with their first non-alcoholic wine. So there's an alcohol-free wine coming from Oregon. Unfortunately, it's not a Pinot. It's just stated that there is many of the big grapes of the great vines that give their grapes to this product. I think they would have mentioned if there would be Pinot in it. Nevertheless, Varnum Vintners, they have two products right now in the market, showing that Oregon also is able to make good alcohol-free wine. And I guess we will see many, many more in the future.
Congratulations to those first movers.
Yes. The name is a bit weird, Porch Zero, but
I think it's because I checked out their website and they have this huge thing about the wine that you can try at their porch, so directly at their door. And maybe that is why they're also saying, or they're also calling it porch.
I mean, if maybe it's just an easy drinking terrace wine, so it's totally fine to call it porch. And Brut Zero is referring to the sparkling wine, so this is, I would say, it's totally fine. And they retail for $12 to $24, which is quite affordable regarding the American market. So I would say, I don't know if it would be available in California when I'm there in August, but maybe I get the chance to try it. Let's see. I'll let you know. From alcohol-free wine to alcohol-free spirits. Tanqueray is quite famous for making gin, a very big gin company, 50 million bottles a year. And they already have their usual gin made a alcohol-free version. So it's infused water. And right now they have Flor de Sevilla, so the Spanish lifestyle in a bottle. It's
It's a fuego.
I guess it's not fuego. I guess it's orange peel. But yes, it's infused water, but in a different style and a different taste. And I guess it's quite suitable for mocktails, for alcohol-free cocktails. I like the color, by the way, and the entry level. So the retail price is quite affordable. It's based around $15, $15. Same with the gin. So it's definitely worth a try if you like cocktails, usually made with either gin or Sevilla, Flor de Sevilla.
Yeah, and also I really like the label. Looks like something that you should really try in summer on a nice pool day. Have a nice Sevilla spritz.
Have you ever drank a spritz made of Flor de Sevilla?
No.
I've never heard of that product before, but it's interesting.
No, me neither. Yeah, but those aperitifs, they are just something that is coming more and more.
I guess there's just few people who know that, but I mean, it's not beer.
But there is a very nice water. It's really just water from not beer. And I found this so funny and it really stuck with me because it targets those sober curious people by using a beer like packaging for just simple sparkling water. So something that Gen Z would really love. All those people that are looking for alcohol alternatives. And yeah, just unconventional packaging, attracting modern consumers that are looking for more unique products. And it also really taps into this health conscious marketing because it highlights the trend of promoting hydration as a healthy lifestyle choice.
Mm-hmm.
So not really functional here. It's just water. But I found it so ironic.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, it looks better than having a plastic water bottle carried with you.
Definitely. So it's episode number 6. You are responsible for the drink of the week today, this week. What are you sipping? What are you drinking?
This week we are having a Nett Pinot Blanc, Pinot Bianco, which was brought to us by Stenothek. It's really drinkable. It has aromas of lemon, green apple, stone fruity. It's generally very fruity. It also is a bit too sweet for my taste, but I really like the texture. It has some depth in it. And that is also due to the base wine, which was, first of all, they hand harvested it, and then they controlled the temperature while fermenting it in small wood. And then they also put it into 500-liter oak barrels for a few months after that. And then they de-alcoholized the end product. And you can really smell and taste that. And it's probably very well for food like vegetables, wok, Chinese food, or Asian food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can also drink it just like this, or maybe as a spritzer.
Would you say that if I give you a Pinot Biancos or a Pinot Blanc with residual sugar of dry and maybe medium sweet, in parallel, they could be quite similar?
I would definitely say so, especially if the Pinot Bianco with alcohol was also made in wood.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot of sugar. How much sugar does it have? Does it say on the
55
website? Yeah.
What about the acidity?
It has some acidity, so it balances the sugar quite good, but yeah, it could be a bit more.
Okay.
For my taste, it's just my personal taste.
So if I'm a
Other than that, I
But
think
if I'm a medium sweet drinker of white wine and a bit fuller bodied and not super high acidity fan, then this would be my alcohol-free version to go to.
yeah, if you like Pinot Grigio or Müller-Thurgau, then this is definitely
Okay.
something that I would recommend.
So easy drinking?
That person. Yeah.
Okay. So fun fact for the international listeners, Nett, the name of the brand of the company, it's German for nice. So just think about a nice, easy drinking wine when you see Nett the next time in the shelf.
Maybe a psychological trick.
Might be. Yeah. That's it for this week, guys. No booze news. See you next week on Monday.
Have a great week, everyone. For all the people in Germany that are considering going for that famous, popular 1st of May holiday hike, where usually some alcohol, like beer or wine, is consumed, at least here in south of Germany, why not switch up your drinks with some non-alcoholic products just for a switch? Maybe try it out with your friends, and then you can discuss together whether it's for you or if it's not. But yeah, we would be really curious to hear about your experiences, and we hope that this podcast gave you a little bit of inspiration. Start your week right by making conscious decisions.
Ciao, ciao.